What up, guys? Jason Guyman here with King of Pressure Wash, and tonight I'm going to talk about the difference between growing and scaling your pressure washing business. And yes, there is a difference between growing and scaling. So that is what I'm going to talk about tonight. That is what I'm going to help you scale your business, because I want you to be able to grow or scale your business, whatever you want to do. Some people want to grow, some people want to scale. And so that is what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to hit on that. And also by doing it, I've got the book of the week of how we can do this. And this actually isn't the actual book. This is the workbook for the book. And I would suggest you do the workbook too, because if you're wanting to scale your business, you need to first buy back your time, right? And this is a great book. The book, Buy Back Your Time. We are in Mentorship. I'm actually going through this book. We're going to go through this book in King of Pressure Wash Mentorship. That's what we're going to go through this book, the next book, because buying back your time is kind of more on the side of scaling your business, right? And so those are the things that I want to help you do with your pressure washing business. So with that in here, tell me, what do you want to do? Do you want to grow your business, or do you want to scale your business? Or you're like, Jason, I don't know what is what. And if that is okay, if you don't know what is what, that is fine. We will help you and kind of go over what the difference is between growing and scaling your business. And so this weekend, I had a Christmas light class. We had a couple people in the class. We only had one person in the class, but that's all right. You know what? I still went to Indianapolis. I still taught. It actually got better teaching because it was only one person. It was one of those things that I didn't do. I didn't promote it. And guess what happens when you don't promote something? It doesn't get traction. And that's all right. I'm fine with it. Jonathan got way more learning because he got one-on-one with me. I actually taught him how to do permanent lighting. We did about pressure or Christmas lights. And so it was all right. It was actually kind of nice. I needed to build I built a nice big a roof, so that way you can use the pitch hopper. He was able to learn how to use his feet, learn how to use the pitch hopper, use the goat. He was able to learn how to do all the wiring, because a lot of times when I have my in-person classes, a lot of people just sit there and watch me and they don't actually take action. And this was a way that he was able to take action because I made him do it all. And so that is what we're going to talk about, growing and scaling. And that is what I hope you all learned something, right? Because that's the whole purpose of this. We got Mr. David Watts in the house. Time to grow. What's up, dude? How are you doing? We got George Yost, big time. Lay that knowledge on us, Mr. JG. Big time in the house. We got Jesus. Pressure washer went down today, third time this year. Yeah, I know how that feels. The last time I had a class, it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago here in Cincinnati, and everything that could go wrong went wrong. So I told them in that class, I was like, guess what? You guys are getting a lot of valuable experience here, because things happen and you got to learn, and it's going to happen, and that sucks. So you just got to push through and keep it going. Nobody ever said running a pressure washing business was easy. It is not easy for sure. And yes, talking about Buy Back Your Time is a great book. If you're listening to it Audible, make sure you're doing what the actual thing is. And if you have read the book, what is your buyback time cost, right? In chapter 2, they talk about what is your cost, right? How much is it cost you to buy back your time? And if anybody's got that, I'd love to see it in the comments of hearing it from you of it. So George Yost said both first, grow first and then scale in a year, and that's pretty good. That is definitely good. What's up? How are you doing? I just lights to be here already. Yeah, I'm ready for lights too. I'm taking the family on a tropical vacationing and letting the employees run my truck while I am gone. Jason, I taught to know what the end goal is and the why. So you have a roadmap. Yes, right? That's chapter 1. right? Chapter 1 talks about what is your vision, what is your, why do you want to buy back your time? And that is chapter 1 right out of the get-go of that book. Looking at getting it in business, been watching your videos for a couple weeks. Awesome. So Tuesday, I'm going to give myself to Tuesday, I will have dates for my in-person trainings. I don't have them in there now. I'm going to probably have them at a couple different places. I'm going to have my pressure washing ones. I've only done one pressure washing class, and we had almost 10 people there. Actually, we've done 2 pressure washing classes this year. And I'm going to do more pressure washing classes. I'm going to do more Christmas light classes, and Christmas lights and permanent lights will probably be together. So I want to help you guys grow, because if I can help you guys grow, guess what? You'll buy lights. That helps me out, helps everybody out. And that's my whole goal. How can I help you grow your business? How can I help you be more successful? Put in the comments down here how I can help you, because I want to know how I can help you. Is there anything that I can do to help you? So next thing, how big is the difference between an 8 and a 10 gallon a minute? Well, 2 gallons. That's how big of a difference. Sorry. It is a little bit different, but you're not going to see a whole lot of difference in it for it. So you'll see a little bit of difference. So what the importance of scaling a pressure washing business is, if you want to scale a what did I do here? If you want to scale a pressure washing business, this is definitely something that you can do, right? It's not nothing special. There's no special thing about scaling a pressure washing business. But the importance of doing it is back to this right here. Buy back your time. As you grow your business, you will learn that you will be the CPA, you will be the bookkeeper, you'll be the marketer, you'll be the pressure washer, you'll be what other hats do we have there? The fixer of crappy equipment, the fixer of trucks, we wear all of these hats. And when we get in business, you will learn that you love doing something, right? There's something that you will love that you do. And when you start growing, and as we grow, you can grow a business to $500,000 and still be in growth mode, right? Because it could be you and maybe a helper. You can do $500,000 with just you. I know people that, him and a helper did over $1 million. And so you can do this just with you and a helper. So don't think that you can't grow. Now, when you go to scale, that's a whole nother world of why we want to be able to do this, of the definition of, the definition of business scaling is basically E-Myth, right? If you all read E-Myth, you're going to map out that you're going to have a technician and a helper. And the person that's over the technician is an ops manager, and he's going to be over 4 here. And then you're going to have an office manager. And then you're going to have a trainer that trains people. And then you're going to have a marketer. And then you might have a salesman, right? And in the beginning, you're actually going to write your name in all of those spots. And the goal of it is to scale, is to start erasing your name out of there and putting someone way better than you in those positions. And I get it. I know some of you are going to tell me, well, you just can't find good help. You just can't do it. Well, I want to tell you something. You can. It's just a matter of, are you willing to learn and grow yourself, right? Because I always say, if you're going to grow your and scale your pressure washing Christmas light business, you got to become a great leader. And if you become a great leader, you'll be able to lead a whole crew of people and scale your business. So that way you're not actually in the business at that point. So that is what the difference of growing and scaling is growing, right? We can grow a business. Like I said, Benjamin did $1 million with him and 1 or 2 other people, helpers. But That's not scaling, right? He did all of the billing. He did everything. He rode all of these hats. Basically, he had a helper that helped him get the jobs done. But even then, he was in the lift. He was doing all the work. He's not growing and scaling for his business. And so that is why we want to make sure that as we do this, we can do this. So the benefits of scaling a business is, one, we'll have increased revenue, right? Because if we can get more work done by me not doing all the work, guess what? I can get more done. I can reach the market better, right? Because now I can finish jobs faster. You know, it's kind of like the A1 guys up there in New Jersey. They do same day service, the same day. Like, you call them and they'll be there that day to do the work. And they have like 5, 6, 7, 8 crews. They're doing $1.5–2 million a year, maybe more, because Brian Haggerty. So that is what you call scaling a business, right? And Brian Haggerty ain't on the truck, right? He's not answering the phone. He's not doing any of that stuff. That's what we call scaling the business and be able to do it. And then by doing this, your brand will be known to be able to be a lot better. So is there enough demand in your business, in your area? In majority of you, I would say yes. Now, if you're down in the middle of Kentucky and you are in the middle of nowhere, then that could be a problem, right? That's probably going to be a problem for you. So you got to be able to identify and know where you need to be at. You know, sometimes I might say in here coming up that we need to go into more area, but sometimes it's going to be best if we stay in a smaller area, more condensed area, as long as they are our customers, right? If they are our $1 million customers, we want to stay in our area. And that's the importance of finding out who's in our area, but how can we dominate one area? How can I take the market in an area? And this would go back to Wise Guys, right? Wesley Bloom, he's in a 5-mile area doing $3 million in a 5-mile area. Because at that point, you can give the best customer service. You can do in-person quoting, which means you're going to get higher tickets. And guess what? You can dominate at that point. And is there people trying to get in his area? Sure there is. But he's dominating it, right? He's killing it in those areas because he's doing that and being able to grow his business and doing this. Some things you can do when scaling is look at all the services. This is back to the book Pumpkin Planning. If you got services that aren't making you money, you might need to get rid of them. Now, there is some services that we might want to downsell, right? I know people that do window cleaning, and that's kind of a loss leader. That's a way to get customers in, and they do it. Gutter cleaning, right? That can be a loss leader a little bit, but yet you can make more money because now we can sell other services to the other people while we're doing that. The other thing when we're scaling is what do we do with equipment, right? We got to grow and scale. You know, I know AC Locker always says that if you're 2 weeks out, you need to bring another truck on. Well, can you afford to spend $10, $20, $30, $40,000 to bring another truck on? And you might say, Jason, there's no way it's going to cost you $10, $20, $30, $40,000, $60,000, $100,000. But it is, right? Because you got to have the truck, you got to have the trailer or the truck and the skid, you got to have all the equipment. So you got to be able to do that, right? And so that's why I always tell people when we get a week out or week and a half, raise your prices. And I mean, raise them. And if you tell me you're 4 weeks out, you're losing customers left and right. You're losing so many customers, it's not even funny. You're losing so much money on the table that it's not even funny that you're losing so much money on the table. And so if you're telling me you're 3-4 weeks out, I'm going to tell you to raise your prices, raise them a lot, or get another truck out on the road so you can keep it underneath here. The next thing is to grow and scale. This is probably one of the biggest things that we got to do to grow and scale. Obviously, we got to get the equipment, but two, we got to grow and scale, we got to hire, right? We have to hire and train and not just be like, here's a pressure washer, and here's a downstreamer, and go at it, right? It's going to take time. You need to identify your staff needs. Who do you need, right? Do we need 2 technicians? Do we want to run 2-man trucks? Do we want to run 1-man trucks? Who do we need to do this? And then as Sean Day always says about recruiting, right? We're going to be recruiting all the time. We're always going to be looking for that rock star. We're going to be looking for that rock star at Chick-fil-A. We're going to be looking at that rock star at Best Buy when we go in there. We're going to be looking for that rock star when we go out to eat. We're going to be always recruiting, right? You're always going to be like, hey, are you awesome at this? Can you do this? And this could be in marketing. It could be in sales. It can be in all kinds of things when we are looking for rock stars. We're never not stop recruiting when we're in scale. When we're going to scale, you got to be looking for the people that you're going to need to start putting into place. And a lot of this comes back to this book right here, Buy Back Your Time, and the number 1 chapter. What's your vision? Do you vision of just growth, or is your vision, hey, I want to scale my business so that I'm only working 20 hours a week in my business. I want to scale my business that I'm only working 4 hours a month in my business. And if you scale it right and properly, you can do this. And this is ways that you can do it. Or you know what? You might not want to do that. Maybe you want to do this. Maybe you want to keep growing, right? And maybe you enjoy it. That's something that you can do to enjoy this and keep it going. So that way we can keep it going. And then after we recruit these people and hire all the people that we need, we got to be an effective training program, right? Not, hey, day 1, we're going to show you the truck, and day 2, here you go, drive it, because you're going to screw up stuff. I promise you will screw up stuff. If you've screwed up stuff, or you hired an employee and didn't train him enough and he screwed up stuff, give me a like or tell me, that's me. Quit talking about me, Jason, right? Put that in there. I want to hear it from you, because I love Dan, right? Dan put, I love hiring, right? Because the higher we fast, that means the faster we are able to get off here. And this is definitely something that you can do. So let me know in the comments of this here. So we got to have an effective training. This is something that I struggled with the hardest with getting off of the truck, right? And when you build a strong company culture, right? These have been some buzzwords here lately, strong company culture. But honestly, I was talking to Casey Jones. He owns his pressure washing business up in Indianapolis. He's kind of the one helping running the lights and wholesale shop up there for getting out lights. And he was talking about Dustin. Dustin Howes is the owner of Lights and Wholesale. He owns a a window cleaning business. He owns a pallet racking business. He owns like 10, 15 rental properties, and he's very good at systems. He's probably the best person I know at systems and at scaling, right? And so I actually had the conversation with him the other day, and it was when I was in Utah. And so if you want to know, when we go out to Utah for the advanced Christmas light training, he's going to be talking about systems and scaling, because he's probably one of the best people that I know personally that knows how to grow and scale a business. And so that is why he's going to talk about it, right? And so the other day, we were talking with Casey, and Casey's like, I don't know how he does it, but every one of his guys are always smiling and are always happy. And it's true. When I went out there to see it, it is true. I couldn't believe how much it was believing that all his guys are smiling and happy, right? And so that's what kind of culture you want to have. If you're in there, and a lot of times us business owners, we may have been a technician mindset, and we don't know how to grow a scale of business. We don't know how to teach people how to do things. And you got to learn how to do it, and you got to be able to do it. And those are things that you can do. Next thing is to be able to do this, you got to be able to do your marketing and growing, right? You got to be able to find, how do we find more customers? How do we develop a marketing plan, right? Here's my plan. Hey, you know what? I want to get to $1 million. So I'm going to spend $100,000 in marketing. out of that $100,000, I want to put 25,000 in Facebook ads. I want to put 25,000 in Google ads. I'm going to put 25,000 in yard signs. I'm going to put 25,000 in a website, right? I'm going to start pointing it out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to test, because I need to see what's going to actually bring me in money. I put $25,000 in EDDM and I didn't get my money back out of it. I spent over $50,000 putting money in EDDM and didn't get my money back out of it at all. But you know what? I learned one thing. What I preach of, you got to ship it 3 times. There's a reason why you got to ship it 3 times, because if you only ship it once, you'll do like I did and spend $50,000 and not get your return on it. One guy in Mentorship, most of his money has come from EDDM. Right? He ships out a bunch of EDDM. Last year he shipped out, I think it was $10,000. This year, or 10,000 more, right at $10,000. This year he's quadrupling it because he's going all in. It worked very well for him. So that's a way that you can start scaling, because you know what works. If you don't know what works, then it's hard to not be able to pull the levers, right? And so this is why we got to track our marketing and our growth. We're going to utilize digital marketing, our website, our things, social media. Things are changing. 2024, I don't know there's a reason why I keep pushing yard signs, because you know what? It won't be too long that Google, when you type in pressure washing or something, it might not show the maps anymore. I don't think we're that far away of not showing the maps. And so if we're not showing the maps, and we put all our eggs in baskets, it could get a hole in it. And so we got to build relationships. Talking about Dan, Lindy's always on here, and she's got it. She just sent me a message the other day that I got another person that's going to use us in, another big company, right? She's getting these huge companies to start using them because that's what she's doing to be able to do it here. So she's building partnership and networking. If you're not networking, and here's the thing, it's real hard to network while you're on the truck. Think about this. It's real hard to network while you're still on the truck. If you're trying to network and you're still on the truck, it's almost impossible. Either one of two things. You either aren't going to be sleeping or seeing your family, or you're not going to be networking, because when you get busy on the truck, you can't network. And so a lot of times, I always talk about different tasks, right? A task of working on the truck, you can pay someone $20 an hour to work on your truck, right? $20 an hour can work on your truck. You can pay someone $25 an hour, and they can do this. How much are you losing because you're not going out there networking because you're working on the truck? How much profit are you losing? Right? Do you even know what your profit is? Do you think you're in profit, or do you not know what his profit is? How much are you? Here's my question to you. Here's my question to you, and I want to hear it in the comments. What is your goal to shoot for per hour? What's your goal to shoot for per man hour? Is it $100? Is it $200? Is it $300? Is it 500? And I know some people are going to tell me I'm crazy because I've seen it over on it. I've got comments of, you ain't going to get that, Jason. You just don't understand. I do understand. I want you to grow and scale. But what is it? How much do you shoot for when you are trying to grow and scale your business here? And then managing the increased demand, right? This is a big one, because when you start scaling, and if you don't have the systems in place, it's going to get real crazy. Like, I always say that if you have a problem when it's small and you start bringing more people and more people and more people, when you get big, it's going to even get worse, right? It's going to get worse, because when you're small and you got the problem, maybe you suck at customer service. Guess what happens when you're at 10 customers? Guess what happens when we get at 100 customers? You're really going to suck, because you're going to get all kinds of callbacks. You're going to get all kinds of things, right? And so that's why you got to look at, when we're growing and scaling, of making sure that we have processes, right? Do we have processes? Do we have systems? Do we have financial planning? Right? Are we looking at the big picture? Do we have a CPA saying, hey, you may want to look at raising your prices or whatever it might be, so that way you can keep scaling your business. So, common challenge when faced when scaling: employees, right? Employees. Or yourself. Do you know how to run other people? Do you know how to run and have 10 employees? Do you know how to have 3 managers that have 3 employees each, right? Or do you not? And so those are things that you have to look at doing this. So as I grew in scale, the hardest thing was for me to get off the truck. I was only off, from 2012 to 2015, 16, I could not get off the truck. Nobody could do it as good as me, right? And what I learned is that's the biggest lie I ever told myself. So once I did find people, 2014, 15, we started hiring people. And guess what? One of the guys is still working there today and running a truck. He was one of my best employees. I could give him 4 or 5 jobs and he'd be back by 3 o'clock every day. It didn't matter. He was amazing. He could he GSD, right? Get stuff done. And so that's what it's all about. As you grow and scale, and I want to tell you something. Scaling's not for everybody. Scaling's not for everybody. If you want to make 100, 200, $500,000, you can do it without scaling. Now, you're going to be working a lot. When I talk about Benjamin Gregory and he does, $1 million, $1.2 million off of 2-3 helpers, basically, he's been in business since about 2015 and 16. He was actually one of my competitors when I was in business. And he just now this year getting off the truck. Just this year. So he'd been in business almost 10 years and he's just now getting off the truck. He's just now not having to go to every job because it was the hardest thing for him to scale. Why? Because he didn't, right? Nobody can do it as good as I can. And that's the biggest lie we tell ourselves. There's a lot of people you can do it. And so that's why we're reading this book here. This is the workbook, but buy back your time, right? How can we buy back our time so that way we can scale our business? And if you want to scale your business, you need to read this book probably 2 or 3 times. You probably need to do this workbook so that way you can see and take action off of the information that you're getting into it. So George O says he does $150 to $200 per hour. I did 2 jobs and made $1,500 and worked 3 hours. That is awesome. So I'm going to go back up here and read questions. If you guys got any questions, don't hesitate to ask and I will answer your questions. Any classes coming up in Missouri? Probably not. I will have some in Cincinnati, or I may have some in Michigan. I've got a couple places where I might have some, but I won't probably be in Missouri. To be honest, I hate Missouri. Did I say that out loud? I've been there a lot in St. Louis, and there's nothing there to do. It kind of sucks to me. If you come to North Carolina, we can use Tiny, a.k.a. my truck, to teach a pressure washing class. I would love to do that, for sure. I have had one down in Myrtle Beach, and I'd love to have another one down in Myrtle Beach. Can you help me grow my business by stopping all of this rain? Makes it hard to stain. It does, and we've had a lot of rain, and I've had a lot of people complaining about sealing concrete, because I know like 4 or 5 people have been waiting for it to quit raining, because you can't seal concrete when it's raining either. What's up, Jason? Big week coming up. That's awesome, Tristan. Do I need to plug the factory downstream injector in order to use an aftermarket injector? You shouldn't have to plug it. You might have to, but it shouldn't have to, because it's actually going to force it to pull more pressure. So you should be fine on that. We are growing and scaling. Owner, manager, caller, answer phones, maintenance, bookkeeper, financer, scheduler, worker, driver, operator, parts order, website manager, Facebook manager, marketing manager, trainer. Yep, those are all job positions. I got $20,000 worth of equipment on my truck and another $20,000 in my building for another truck setup. Love hiring. I found a teacher wanting a summer job, perfect fit for me in a seasonal business. That's either a teacher, if you can find firefighters, different people, right? Teachers are great because they need stuff to do in the summertime and they don't have nothing. And you love firing. I work roughly. So the question is why are we firing? Did we not hire the right people, or did we not train them? Is it because we're not, why are we firing? Is my question. Do you need to fire the boss? Sometimes we need to fire ourselves. Maybe we don't need to be finding the people that we need to do. Maybe we are finding the wrong people because we think this is what we need and it's not what we need. I work roughly 3 hours to maybe 20 hours a week. Package deal. Yep. At what point should I hire a helper? Well, it depends on how busy you are and how much you want to do. And what's the best position to hire? Is it best to hire a position for a helper or a technician so that way they take the truck and you can do other things? Or do you need to hire someone to do your answering the phone and getting stuff done there? It depends on what do you like to do and who do you need to hire. Hiring the right employees is crucial, and I would agree 100%. Hey, Jason, can you talk about getting jobs done faster? The more jobs we do in a day, the more money we make. So, I always talk about getting started, with your 8 or 4 gallon a minute, at least a 4 gallon a minute. So how do we get jobs done faster? If we get to a point that we can only get 2 jobs done a day because we're running out of, we're on a production wise, the way we get jobs done faster is a bigger pressure washer. If you go from a 4 to 8 gallon a minute, you're going to cut your time down to nothing. If you go from downstreaming to the gas pumps with the all of that, that's going to cut your time down. With a gas pump, we were talking with, if you ever come on Monday Night Lives or the Monday Night Marketings from King of Pressure Wash, we got Rick Moosey, and he was like, I did a $4,000 day with his new system that I built for him, and it's a roof pump with the system, and he's able to move a lot faster. So a lot of it depends on your equipment. If you only got a 4 gallon a minute, it's going to take 2 hours to do a job. If you get an 8-10 gallon a minute, or you do the gas pump, you should be able to get it done in about 45 minutes for most houses. It's not about volume or how fast to get a job done. It's really about quality and value, and give and manage your time and pricing it to up selling bigger tickets. And that's a lot of it, right? Are we selling it at premium pricing, or are we trying to do cheap pricing and get it in at cheap? Your dreams and taking action in your company today is your best results tomorrow. For a great, successful pressure washing, soft washing, always be learning and having an open mind within your surroundings. And this here is 100% true. If you think you know it all, you might as well hang it up, because you don't. I promise you. We are slammed. I can't feel my legs. Raise your prices. $500 an hour all day long. But you can't get that in my area. You can, I promise you. Because does he have competition down there? There's a lot of competition in the Myrtle Beach area. A lot. I promise you, there's a ton. Now, I think they're a little bit south of it, but they work out of that area. And there's a ton of it. You can go get it. You just got to ask for it. Jason, earlier today I was going through my comments. I try to go through my comments on my videos and I try to answer them all. I don't get all to them all, but I try to answer all my comments that come in. So if you commented on any of my videos, I try to answer you back. I want to help you, right? And so if you comment, I'm going to answer them. And so One of the guys, I was talking about pricing, and I'm sure I don't even know what I was talking about. I'm sure I was talking about $300 to $500 an hour, and he's like, "Where can you get that at? You can't get that." I'm like, "That's what you believe. You're right. You'll never get it if you don't believe it," and that's what you got to do. You got to set yourself apart, and that's the way you do it. Jason, what would be the best way to approach CVS pharmacies in my area? They're all dirty. Well, if they're all dirty, they probably don't want to be clean. I know, and I'm only reason why I know on CVS is because they've been this way since I've been in business a long time ago. Is they're dirt cheap. Like they want to pay nothing. Like the guy that was doing them around here were doing them for like $100 to $200. They were completely cheap when they were doing these, and so they're dirty because they don't want to pay nobody to do them. Now, you can go in and try to find the general manager that will tell you who the supervisor is and say, "Hey, we can clean these up if I can give you a price," and see what they say. But I'm telling you from my experience with CVS's, they're very cheap. Very, very cheap. I did 2 jobs and made $1,500 and worked 3 hours for both. Rough day. 150 to 200. Why do we need a CPA to tell us to raise our prices? We have you. Well, that's true. Raise your prices. What cooking for February in Orlando? What's cooking for February in Orlando? That's probably going to be the thing like the Huge, basically. Not the Huge, but it's going to be a big conference is what the goal of it is. So there's like 4 or 5 different organizations that have all had conferences in Florida, and they're going to try to put them all under one roof. So that way, because here lately, not a lot of people have been showing up to them. And so I know ResponsiBid was way down from in the past years. So that's why they're going to try to put everybody under one roof and then go from there. Did the EDDM guy give you any tips on what was working with that strategy? Well, yes, because he's in my mentorship, so I see everything that he does. And so we've worked on different strategies to make that work. And if you want to know, I do have about 2 open spots for mentorship. So if you would like to join mentorship, you can go to kingofpressurewash.com/mentorship, and you can find out more about it. But what did work was one thing that worked. I'll give you one little tidbit that worked was putting a dollar amount off versus a percentage off, because the percentage didn't work near as good as the dollar mark did. Knocked doors for the first time. Got 3 customers out of 10 doors. Most didn't answer or were not at home. Not only doing driveways for 100, but have to start somewhere, only thinking of going up. Well, here's the thing. When you go knock on doors, then you can go and find out what else they need, right? Then there's some things that you can do of what else do they need. And so if you're in person, then you can walk around their house and say, "Hey, you need your house clean, you need your gutters clean, and here's your quote, and now where you need to be at." Flat work drags with a 4 gallon a minute. I need to upgrade. Yes, flat work sucks with 4 gallon a minute. How do you handle someone who rescheduled multiple times because they want to be there for the job? It's been 3 times already. You tell them, "Hey, this is when I'm doing it, and if you can't be there, I'm going to have to pass." Because what's going to happen is, if they're being this big of a pain in the butt already, they're probably going to be a really big pain in the butt if you do something and make them not happy all the way. I've had people requesting the garage when we do the driveway lately. I'm going to start offering it as an upsell. Just be careful around most of your garages have like a 4 or 6 inch up of concrete, but just be careful of the drywall. And then the other thing with that, Jeremy, too, is most garages are going to have oil stains in them, right? So that's the other thing. A good CPA is worth their weight in gold. They are, for sure. They will save you hundreds of thousands of dollars if you have a good CPA. There is roughly 180 pressure washers within a 30-mile range of me. Do I worry about them? Nope. Do I compete? Nope. Do they compete against me? Probably. Am I worried about it? Nope. Yeah, there's a ton down in Myrtle Beach if you didn't know that. Would you say there is an air compression? Would you say that an air compressor system is the most reliable for soft washing? I would not say that. I don't know what would actually the most reliable way of soft washing. I would say probably is an X-Jet is the most reliable thing for soft washing, and here's why. Because an X-Jet, you can leave bleach in them stupid things, and they will work almost perfectly every time. I've had them all. I've had air systems, which lasted me a little over a year. I've had gas systems. They have lots of issues. I've had 12 volts. I've had downstream injectors. I've had them all. Now, would I wash with an X-Jet? No, but I do know a company that's doing $3 million a year, Wesley Bloom. He uses X-Jet. Why does he use X-Jet? Because it is the most reliable thing to pull soap. And so an air compressor, you still got to have the air compressor. It's still a pump. It still can go bad. I had it pump. I had the nice $2,000 air or the $2,000 pump. I had the big air compressor, and I had issues with it, right? And so I would not say that that would be the most reliable thing for soft washing. I would say an X-Jet would be the most reliable. The reason why I went with 12 volt is because it was the most easiest thing to keep when something went wrong. You just switch out the 12 volt pump and you keep right on going. That's why I have 4 trucks, and all of them but one had a 12 volt on it. And actually the 4th one did too, because I had it as a backup to the gas pump. So I had a gas pump, but again, that stupid thing, it broke, right? Things broke. And did my guys keep it cleaned out the best? Probably not. But it broke. Things break, right? So I would say the most reliable thing would be a X-Jet, would be, in my opinion, the most reliable way of pulling soap. What would you say is the longest line from the X-Jet to bucket and it still work? I know people that would do 50, 60 feet from the bucket and it still pulls from it. I personally like the downstream injector. Again, I know it's not the most reliable, you're going to have a couple spares, but my favorite thing is the downstream injector. That is what I like the most. If it needs more than a downstream, 12 volt all day. Use it, toss it, and put it back up on hand. Exactly. And it costs $200, right? It's the easiest way to make sure that you're not having to do it. And here's the thing. There's been all kinds of fangle-dangle things. And what I mean by that is every year there's somebody that's got something better out in the new. When I first started, it was the air pump. And then it became the gas pump. And then it became the booster pump. And now it's kind of back to the gas pump, right? And now is the new 24 volt bullshit crap, or the 10-gallon whatever, or whatever, right? There's always something coming out that's supposed to be the best thing out there. And yes, I've had all of those things I said, except the one bandwagon I didn't jump on was the booster pump, because I just felt like 120, having a 120 having to carry a generator sounded stupid to me. So that's why I never did it. And again, 12 volt, you can keep it simple and do it. And yes, it drives you crazy, but all of those other things can have issues and drive you just as crazy, and if you're not easy. My X-Jet is 4 years old and still works fine. This is why I say it is the most reliable thing. You will pay $200 for this stupid thing, but it will last forever. You can leave bleach in it and it ain't gonna hurt it. I don't know how they does it, but an X-Jet is super tough. I had an X-Jet that I mean, it got used sometimes it didn't, and it would last forever. So, with that, what back to growing and scaling, what are some things that you want to do this year to start working on scaling your business? What are some things that you're going to start working on to start delegating some tasks off of you? That would be my question to you. 25 feet to my XJet. Downstream injector for 10 years, 90% of jobs can be done with a downstream injector. Other 8 is 12% for roof washing and 2% when I need to spray different chemicals. That's all I ever did was downstreaming because it's simple. That's why I like it. And if you have employees, you can kind of control what they kill and don't kill, right? Because you're not going to kill a whole lot with a downstream injector. You will kill a lot with a 12 volt. You will kill a lot with a air compressor. You will kill a lot with a gas pump because it's just literally that much of a flip of a wrist, and now you went from a 1% to a 4% mix, and now you just nuked every bit of the plants. Or maybe the water system quit drawing and you're pulling straight bleach, and now you've just nuked every freaking bush and every plant that's on there. So you definitely got to be careful with it of all of those other things. With a downstream injector, guess what? You're only going to get a 1.5% mix. You might get a 2% mix if you got like the super sucker or something. But even at 2% mix is very unlikely of you killing everything versus a 4, 5, 6% mix, 12% mix from a gas pump. People overcomplicate things. Apply soap, rinse it off. Apply bleach, rinse it off, right? I know people that don't even use surfactants. A lot of people don't use surfactants. Who in here uses surfactants and who don't? Put a 1 if you use surfactants. Put a 2 if you don't use surfactants. I'd like to see that poll. That's a poll that I like to see across a lot of people because that's an interesting poll. My lead used equipment is my gas roof pump. Yep. And that's the thing. DJ bought the roof pump and he's got the mixer valves and he's got the on and off shut off. And I'll be honest, it is definitely a lot faster than downstreaming, than the 10 gallon a minute, because he had a 10 gallon a minute downstreamer. And so the 10 gallon a minute downstreamer definitely he can wash a lot faster with that roof pump. Because you can bump it up, right? You can give it to a 2% mix real easy. And it's not flowing through that valve. And it flows a lot more. Those gas pumps are flowing 11, 12 gallons a minute. And it's pumping some juice out, right? And so that's how you're able to do those gas pumps. But you're also looking at $6,000, $7,000 for it. So that's something else. So who uses surfactant and who doesn't? Jeremy Olson doesn't use surfactant. Dave Watts does. Reptar does not. Not unless I do a roof is the only time he does. XJet is a downstream injector without a ball and spring and place at the end of the lance that causes a siphon suction in short term. Yep. F-bomb uses surfactant. Sudsuckers plus check valve gives me a 1.8 mix. So that's what I mean. So a 1.8 mix, you're not killing a whole lot with a 1.8 mix. It's a less likely chance of you killing something with a 1.8 mix, right? Where if you get up to 2.5, 3, 4%, now we're killing a whole bunch of stuff. And the last thing you want to do is kill a bunch of stuff, right? We don't want you killing a whole bunch of stuff. I don't want you killing a whole bunch of stuff. So those are definitely things that you got to remember. I use Southern Swing. Don't use it. In my opinion, the only negative thing on a gas roof pump is the pressure on a 2-story gutter not being strong enough. And that's DJ. Don't use surfactant. DJ don't use surfactant. He uses very little surfactant. The only reason why I like to use surfactant is because I know when the bleach is on and when the bleach is off. That is the only reason why I like to use surfactant, because if you don't have it, sometimes it's hard to know when the bleach is on and when the bleach is off. So, did you know that every Monday night we have a Zoom call? And on that Zoom call, there is some amazing people on this Zoom call. There's about 20 to 30 people that join every Monday night on this Zoom call. And out of these 20 and 30, most of these guys want to grow and scale their business. And they get in there and ask questions, and we be able to do it. I usually talk about 15 minutes on marketing, and then the rest is all about growing and scaling businesses. There's a lot of cool people on this call. You have people like Dan Maddox, you got Tristan, you got all kinds of cool people. You got people from New York, you got Rick Moosey, you've got all kinds of people. So if you want to join that Zoom call, go check out kingofpressurewash.com and join the membership, and you can join every Monday night. I will promise you, you will grow and scale your business. When I first started doing this Zoom call on Monday night, my goal was to help you get new people to start. It's kind of become a small group of people that are trying to grow and scale their businesses. There's people that join my membership that don't even do pressure washing. They were originally going to do pressure washing, and they go join it, and now all they do is come to this because they're able to grow and scale their business. So go check out King of Pressure Wash, and if you want to get in for $50 a month, join the yearly. If you join the yearly, you get it for $50 a month. And if you need a website, it comes with a website. You can get the template website. That way you can keep growing and scaling your business. So go check out kingofpressurewash.com. Only thing I like about NextJet is your wire hose isn't getting ate up by SH. Yeah, I agree. I'm not a big XJet fan at all. I'm a big downstreamer guy. I use Blue Dye 2. Yep, so that way you can see the dye, and it makes good for pictures and videos. The problem with blue dye is that stuff gets everywhere. Like, you get it on your finger, the next thing you know, you got it on your face, you got it on your hands, you got it on your arms, you got it everywhere. That stuff's like anti-seize, man. That's like a plague. You get it on you, it goes everywhere. Thoughts on bleach neutralizing after washing? You can do that as an upsell. The only neutralizer I ever did was called water, and I watered a lot. That was my neutralizer. But you can, if you want to sell it, you can buy. You can either buy the NutriPods or go get the tricyclite or whatever it is, put it in a bucket, and then spray it on as a good way of, hey, we're putting some fertilizer basically on your stuff. I run an 8-gallon flow, tested it at 8.7 without an injector, with an injector to wash and rinse. I get 9.9 at 1.25 draw with a 2.1 with check valve. You know, and that's the thing too, a lot of times when we started in pressure washing, it is good to test, guys. You will learn, you know, when I first started, I just did it not too long ago. A 12-volt pump, a 5-gallon-a-minute pump, or a 7-gallon-a-minute pump, you would think that if you have a 7-gallon-a-minute pump, it would pump how many gallons, right? If I have a 7-gallon-a-minute pump, how many gallons is it going to pump? Can anybody tell me in the comments? It's not 7. It's about 3 or 4. So if you have a 5-gallon pump, you get about 2 to 3 gallons pumped. Right, with your, and it depends on if you have half-inch hose or if you have 5/8 hose. But even if you have 5/8 hose, you're only going to get so much because there's this thing called friction loss. And so you think that you're getting 5 to 7 gallons a minute, but in reality, you're only getting 2 to 3 gallons a minute. And so it is good to test. So you ran that test, and you were able to see how that worked. Water bleach neutralizer is free. Keep your profits. I like this, right? This is definitely something that is important, right? Because a lot of times we see all the fangle dangle stuff, right? Ooh, this shiny object, this shiny object, this shiny object. I gotta buy this shiny object. I gotta buy this shiny object. And what we lose is the last part of that word there, profits, right? We lose our profits by doing it that way. Depends on how far and how much hose. You're right. If you have a whole bunch of 200 feet of hose, you're going to have the less. Have a full uncut washing of a 1,700 square foot story in 36 minutes. Did you use those hose cleaner things at the firehouse? Saw one the other day. We did, where you put it on the, we used the one that you put on the hydrant, and then you just shove that thing through, and it had like water spraying on it, and it worked really good. I'm a little late. Well, that just means you go back and watch the beginning of it. You're the best. I don't know. I try to help you all out. That's all I want to do. I want you all to be successful. You know, my goal is how can I help you be successful? What can I do to help you grow your business? What do I know that can help you grow your business? Here's one thing I know that will help you grow your business. You want to know what help you grow your business? You got a QR code on here for your reviews, because if you get more reviews, guess what? You're going to get more business. So if you want to, you can take a screenshot of this and give me a 5-star review. I'd appreciate it very much. I love getting 5-star reviews because a lot of times you all tell me what I've done to help you grow your business. And so if you want to do it, you can do it too. And so this is the QR code that you can call here and do it. On the back side of this QR code, it is a referral card, right? So this is another way that you can get more business, because we know that referrals will get higher call. We know that you'll close higher rates and higher pricing. So do you have a referral card? Do you have a QR code that is ready to give your 5-star reviews? Do you have a link to your website that's super easy? That's you got a link that we can point it to you, right? So this is ways that you got to make sure that you're going after your 5-star reviews, because it is very, very important. The best piece of equipment I love is my Flow Pro remote bypass system. It seems pricey, but well worth it. Especially if you're in if you're in the 8-10 gallon a minute, it's definitely worth it. 7 GPM, 4.5 at 300 PS, 300 feet, 5.5, 2.1 at 300 pump test, and this will vary on tips and trigger. After a short time being sprayed, bleach turns into salt water. Correct. Jason, how are you doing? I am doing awesome. I just got back yesterday from a class. We are actually went, and it kind of happened fast, of looking at a house and maybe buying a house. Like it kind of fall in our lap, and we actually put a bid on it. So we'll find out tomorrow if we get it, which is kind of exciting. It's not a lot bigger than this house that we're in, but it's laid out way better, and it has a full basement. Right now we don't have a full basement. That's why I'm in the garage. So there would be a lot of cool stuff coming out if we get this other piece of property. But yeah, so other than that, I'm excited. So another exciting thing that I did today, or I had today, was my exciting part of the day. My daughter, they had graduation Sunday today at church, and this was the first time she's ever done this. She sang up front, and that was pretty cool for me as a dad. So that is definitely something that made me cry a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. So it was pretty neat. Made me happy, very happy. My remote system is better because I'm not restricting back to 8 gallon a minute. Hey Jason, I own a window cleaning business. I have soft wash system I built, but I'm looking to start downstreaming. I've been using a 4.2 pressure wash to start. What downstream injector should I get if I'm going to use 150 feet of hose? I would get the GP, probably the general pump, and get I believe it's a 2.1 for a 4 gallon a minute. You can get the 1.8 or 1.7, but I believe the 2.1 will also work just fine with that, and it'll pull plenty of it for you. You will need your J rod or your M5 twist. Also, that'll be the other thing that you need. Tristan, love your channel too, man. Yep, if you're not following Tristan, you definitely want to follow his channel. He's got a great channel. Hey, folks, late joining. I hope everyone is doing well. We are. Hello, Jason. Was doing a quote on a car dealership with Occubon. That stuff sucks. And was getting ready for the day tomorrow. I hate that stuff. Congratulations on your daughter. Tears are cool. They are. As someone starting out, seeing all the people whose videos get the most value from all in this chat is cool as heck. So if you want to know, I go live on here every Sunday night at 9 o'clock. I also go live on Wednesday night, sometimes on this channel, but I definitely go on my Christmas light channel. If you want to know when I go live, especially on this channel, you can text the word KING, K-I-N-G, to 859-696-1101. Again, I go live 9 o'clock every Sunday night at Eastern Time, and I go live every Wednesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. I don't always put that one on this channel, but that's when I go live here, so for sure. I want to get dinner again, Jason. Sure. Well, let's do it when you come into Cincinnati. Greetings, Mr. Little's Pressure Washing. Yes, Eastern Time Zone is when I go live. 9 o'clock live every Sunday night. So, again, I text out like 1 or 2 minutes before the live on the way to do it. I don't text out anything else except that. I do have my automation set up, so when you text it, it's going to ask you for your email and name and everything, so that way I do have it, but that's how that works. But other than that, I hope you all have an amazing week this week. We are getting toward the end of May. We are coming into June, just so you know, if you didn't know that. And right after that is July and August. If you're just starting out in the pressure washing world, a little heads up, July and August, generally 99.9% of the time, slow down quite a bit. I mean, you might do $10,000 this month, and you might do $500 in those 2 months. So I just wanted to let you know that in July and August, it does slow down. Again, we are at the end of May. We're at the middle of May. June usually does okay, but July and August really slow down. That is vacation time. And so this is why I always tell people to start working on, like in mentorship, I've been hammering on commercial, because if we start working on getting commercial now, it will get us through July and August. This isn't something new that happens that all of a sudden it slows down in July and August. This has been going on since I've been in business in 2012, right? Every June, July, and August, slow down. Usually September it kicks back up, and then it slows back down in October, depending on where your location is. That's why we do Christmas lights in the October month. So we make money in October, November, and December, and make more money in those 2 months than we did all year for pressure washing. So that is, I just want to let you know, that is why the huge convention is in August, because it does slow down. If you did, that's when everybody goes on vacation, and when everybody's on vacation, they're not thinking about it. Holidays and people go on vacation. Yes. Just starting to cutting grass here, so picking up now. So if you're in the Canadian, and they just got snow probably last week, and now the grass is finally growing. But that is where Mr. Sean is up in. He's actually up in Newfoundland. It's like a little island over there on the East Coast. So it's actually like 10:30 there, or like a half hour faster. I don't know, something crazy. But other than that, I hope you all have an amazing week, and we'll talk at you all later. See ya.